We're here at the AST Moton factory with an exciting announcement about new cooperation for USA. PSI is now going to be the development and motorsport partner for Moton and AST dampers. We're also one of the retail sales centers. So what does that mean for USA, Koen?
Since we've been working together since 2016, we're going to have an amazing cooperation going with the development, with the support. I think you want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so support, in my view, is one of the most important parts of the cooperation, because with Moton AST being such a technical product that takes special knowledge for setup, I've been doing that for many years. Of course, I have my history with PSI, but also the Moton and how to set up everything, and my training to build dampers here at the factory over these past 7 years that we've worked together will really be a great cooperation for us moving forward in 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, so we're super excited, and I think we're here to show everybody a little bit of the factory too, so I think we should do the tour.
Yeah, so let's take a walk through, Koen.
Okay.
All right, so this is a really important part of the factory. What goes on in this area, Koen?
The company itself is situated upstairs, but downstairs we do all the development. We bring in the cars here, we measure it, we do all the motion ratios of the car, we measure the full car. It takes about 2 days, and then we have all the dimensions, and after that all the drawings and all the information goes upstairs where we do the development with our engineers.
Yeah, so another thing that we've done when I've been here is you've actually been able to take off dampers, service them in the factory, reinstall them onto the race cars and everything. And there's also development pieces where we've had a development kit on a test car and it comes in for evaluation where they'll take apart the damper, they'll look at the internals and everything. That all goes on here. And we're also expanding this department, right?
Correct.
We're going to put a lift over here.
Yeah, we're going to have another new area inside the factory because we can't grow outside. We need to grow into the factory. This is going to be our measuring room area. The next area is going to be the alignment area where we set up all the race cars, but also do training for people like yourself.
All right, so let's go upstairs. We'll see the corporate office. We'll see the engineers, and we'll see where they build all the dampers and also where the stock is.
There's a lot of stock, yes, and I'll show you everything, and then I'll also take you for a quick tour around the factory.
All right, Koen, so now that we're in the corporate office, kind of tell me about the different departments here and how everything works.
So this area is where Marlene and me sit. We're both responsible for the operation as well as for sales and for marketing. We do that together. Marlene is also responsible for the whole planning, so the production planning. So she keeps an eye on if all the parts are in here on time so we can actually start production and do production in the production area.
Yeah, so she's able to run the schedule for the building of the dampers. So what parts are available, when certain dampers can be. So when I reach out and I want to know an ETA of a kit and how fast we can build it, it goes to them. We talk to Koen and Marlene, and then together they give me a time and I can let my customers know when we can do something.
So once the order is processed, the order goes to engineering.
So the engineers go ahead and figure out what metal should be used for all the production of the pieces. They also choose and confirm the drawings that are going to be used because there could be multiple drawings for multiple applications. They also purchase the material and make sure the material is on hand for the machine factory, which will be going later. They also do all the new development for new kits. So if we have all the data that we've gathered from downstairs or at PSI in the development center, we can send it here. That's where they determine what will work and won't work as far as stroke, as far as the making of the lower casings and all of the bits and pieces that are needed to make the dampers.
The engineering team is not only responsible for car dampers, they're also responsible for motorcycle dampers and industrial dampers, which means we make dampers for roller coasters, for cargo ships, we make for a lot of different applications dampers. So whatever you can think of that has a damper, we might have a solution for it.
Yeah, and all made here at the factory.
Everything made in-house.
Let's now head into the production room and see how dampers are made. Okay, now we're in the production room and they have 5 main assembly centers here for both AST and Moton dampers. So take us kind of through this area, Koen.
So in this area are all the dampers that we sell around the world are built in this area with those 5 stations. We have 2 dynos here in the room where we check all the competition kits, 2-way, 3-ways, they're all being adjusted on the dynos. Everything's just been done here. Also the rebuilds, all the rebuilds that come in are rebuilt in this area. 2
dynos that are here are used to verify new production on competition kits, but they're also here to verify if a rebuild is done correctly, or customers can also send us production graphs of other dampers they may have made. They want us to match them, so we can make the dampers, put them on the dynos, and then they can match the graph.
That's why we keep all the build sheets. Every kit that is being built has a traceability, so we know which kit it was, when it was built, for what car, by who it was built, and there's a dyno graph to it. So once the car came in or the rebuild came in, we can actually make sure that it's 100% the same when it first time left the factory.
So there's a WO number that's on every kit that we can reference all that information here. So if you guys have an AST Moton kit, you want to know more information, you guys can email us. We can get that information on at least the original build and how it came from the factory. Koen mentioned service. This is a service center for all over the world. This services the whole entire world, including USA. But we've also, since 2016, had 2 service centers in the USA, and that's PSI Motorsport, which is is actually in Sonoma, Performance Shock Inc. They've been around for more than 20 years.
Yeah.
They're a staple in the industry. There's also in Mooresville, North Carolina, RE Suspension, which is another staple. They have the same row rig dynos. They also have some EMMA dynos. They're right in NASCAR country. So we have an East and West Coast service center to service all the dampers throughout the country.
And all the service centers that are set up as a service center from the factory, they come here every year for training, for updates, for more information about the drawings, but also for new engineering stuff.
And they buy the parts directly from the factory, and they're actually the only two places that can buy factory OEM parts right from this facility.
Yeah.
No one else has access to those parts. We lock those down to make sure that the quality and everything is exactly how it was built from square one here at the factory is the same at a rebuild center. So whether you send it here to Valkenswaard in Holland, whether you send it to Sonoma or you send it to Mooresville, you get the same exact quality pieces, completely OEM, right back to you in a really quick turnaround.
So speaking of parts, let's go into the parts area where we have all the parts for rebuilds, but also for all the new dampers. So in this area are all the parts located. So we have AST on this side, Moton on the other side. Most of the parts are not interchangeable between AST or Moton. There are obviously some universal parts like the springs we do, the top mounts that we use for both brands, but also the hoses that actually come from Goodrich. We use them for the Moton dampers and for the AST dampers.
So all the dampers have hundreds of parts. So this is everything from hardware that we supply on the dampers to the shim stacks, to the valving, to the springs. We have lower casings also for the dampers here. So this is everything that goes into every damper that you guys would receive ordering Moton or AST. We can kind of come back here and show all the springs that are on stock, and those are a mixture between progressive and linear racing springs.
Yeah, and as you can see, there are a lot of parts around here, and most of the parts are made downstairs, except for the rubber parts, but all the machining parts are made downstairs, and let's check that out. So we're in the factory right here, which is one of the 6 machine factories that we have in our group. Most parts from Moton AST are made in here, in-house, on our 5-axis machines, or on our turning machines that we use to chrome cylinders or our shaft, but we also have a measuring room, which is very important for our production. So this is actually one of the 4 measuring rooms that we have in this facility. All the parts that come here are climatized. They need to be in here for a while, otherwise the material responds differently to the temperature. Sometimes if we have top mount plates that come in, we measure all the dimensions here to make sure the fitment is 100% right. So the machines behind us are the 5-axis brand new machines that we use to make our top mounts, drop link brackets, all the other alloy parts that we make in-house are made on these 2 machines.
In addition to these machines, what else on the floor here helps us make the dampers? And then they take me to the production side of the AST Moton, welding, and all of the finishing processes that are done.
I'll walk you through the factory so you can see a little bit more about the size and about the machines that we have. So on the machines behind me, most of our shafts and our chrome cylinders are made, but also our outer cases are made on the machine over there. Made from steel. It's a tube that's being cut down in the factory. They cut it to a specific size, and then they machine it here to make sure it fits the car perfectly. They cut the thread on it, they machine the inside, they make sure the smoothness is great, and if the smoothness is too rough here, we hone all our dampers to make sure it matches what we think it should be.
So in addition to steel, they also cut aluminum and thread aluminum here as well for some of the Moton racing dampers as well.
Yeah, and after that everything goes to anodizing. Anodizing is a process we don't do in-house because there are only a couple companies here in the country that actually do anodizing. So let's leave this and go into the welding area. So this is the welding area from Moton and AST, and this is where all the parts that were machined in the factory come together.
This is one of the fabrication stations. This is where they take all of the pieces that were made on the floor of the factory, all the brackets, all the cylinders, all the threaded pieces, and they all get hand welded here. So we have a few stations in this room. The guys sit and weld it, then they reach over here into the cabinet and they get all the jigs and they check and make sure these have been welded, they haven't moved or walked during the welding, make sure they're gonna fit for your car. So after this process is complete, what happens, Koen?
Then they do another check. They take the drawings, make sure that all the dimensions are perfect, and then it goes into a big rack. That rack is being shipped off to a company that does the KTL treatment. The KTL treatment is our base coat that we do on all our dampers. It's a black coating, super strong. It's used in all the automotive industry as well for our control arms and all the other chassis parts. It's very durable.
This is what prevents this from rusting. It's what it prevents it from breaking down over time on the vehicle. So it's a really neat process that's done right around the corner from here.
You're right. And all the thread is not sharp, so whatever alloy platform you put onto it, it will never seize, which is a very important factor.
Neat feature that's been developed right here at AST.
Yeah. So once it comes back from KTL treatment, the parts go upstairs and they're ready for assembly. So they finish the kit, they approve it, everything gets boxed up, and then they ship it.
So during production, it's signed off not only by the builder, but it's also checked by a non-builder engineer. So when you receive all the kits, they're checked through to make sure not only was it built right, but it was also checked and confirmed. It also is a part on the dyno where it gets checked and confirmed to make sure, was it produced correctly? Is everything inside okay? Is everything the way it needs to be? So all those checks are done, then the kit's boxed, and then it's shipped directly to you or to one of the dealers or distributors we have all over the world. This is just one small part of the collective collaboration that we have with everyone here in Holland, all of our guys in the US. This is a really nice insight into really the foundation of the companies and all of the production that happens. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us on email or social media. We're here to help and support the brand, and we look forward to seeing you guys 2023 and beyond.